All right, so we're getting on with Join Us Interactive, and Aisha has joined me as always. Hello, Aisha.
Hello, Israel, and I want us to get to it straight. And you know how to join this conversation. It's on facebook.com/Joy News on TV, and on Twitter it's on Joy News on TV. You know how to play the game. Just let's have a brief conversation. No harsh words. Now, Ghana's national under-17 team, the Black Starlets, has won its first match against Cameroon in the Africa Youth Championship tournament. This paves way for the team to play host nation Gabon in their next match. Now, the sterling performance by the Starlets at their first match has raised the hope of Ghanaians, and the question now remains, what can Ghanaians do to garner support for these boys to win the trophy?
I think as we usually support our Black Stars whenever they are in competition and other things, if we go further to do the same thing as we do for the senior team or the senior side, I think the guys will be motivated and then they will play more. But then, you know, starting on a good note, it's also good we encourage them not to go by playing complacencies whenever they're on the pitch.
I think that the best of support we can give to them as a country is to rally behind them, sit behind our sets to watch them, to cheer them, and then those who can go to Gabon, I think it's Gabon, to give them their support. They should also do that. Companies which can also help in that arena. You know, we have the Ghana supporters, the Suga, whatnot, supporters union. And those who can sponsor them, I know some have gone. Those who can sponsor the rest to go should do that, so that at the end of the day, they bring the cup back to Ghana.
A lot of interesting comments are on Facebook, Israel. Let's check.
Kwesi Boateng Ayepa says, I didn't even know they are participating in any tournament. So it tells you publicity was low. Until we begin to give equal attention to all levels of sporting activities, we all will be a class one. The sports ministry should not be a ministry for Black Stars only. Judicial Sodro says, it is very sad that we give much attention to Black Stars matches than others. Most people don't know about this tournament, but it is ongoing. So the GFA should be up and doing and stop wasting all their attention on Black Stars. And then we have, okay, immediately this one goes, so I can read what's underneath it now. All right, Bayer Jeremiah says, the management body should make sure that starlets are giving what is due them. There should be nothing like partisan politics in the game among the supporters. The players in the game should also be self-disciplined.
And Yao Graham says, I just love watching them play. The GFA should spend much money on this instead of the Black Stars, who cannot win any trophy for us. Prince Nuruddin Baumia says, I wish them all the best, and may Allah make their competition easy and possible for them to bring the trophy home. Let's try and motivate our boys, period. Bao Musa says, we should give them equal attention and support just as we give to the Black Stars. After all, every painty be painty.
And one of the fascinating thing about the team, which I'm just learning from the sports guys, is that most of the boys were actually picked from senior high school.
Okay.
So essentially, I mean, they're genuinely like really young people.
Young people, and I think that we should support their efforts. Also, we seem to be gradually moving towards the year 2015, where we witnessed several agitations from the Labour Front and other pressure groups. Now, a few months into the year 2017, we are already witnessing some of these agitations. A few days ago, it was the unemployed bonded nurses who picketed at the Ministry of Health for days. Today, caterers of the school feeding program massed up at the premises of the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection over arrears owed them. You and I know the economic, social and political impact of such tensions on the country's development. Question I ask, what do you suggest should be done to prevent some of these incidents?
You see, the whole situation is, for strike actions in this democratic system, we can't do away with it. people are going to agitate, and we need, as a government or as a nation, we need to look at their problems and get it solved. But here is a case, this government has been in office for how long? Let's say 5 months. They are still, I would say, they are not fully settled. Yes, they've worked, they've not been paid. But we should also give them time to look at books, to go into their books and do all other things well before they can start paying. If I come to you, you are owing me, and you don't have you don't give me the documents for me to assess that actually I'm owing you. How do I pay?
Yeah, I think the best solution that can be found for this canker is to actually, the authorities need to sit up, because one way or the other, just for one person's interest or greediness, some officers just try to seek political power. So the moment they get the power, they try to deviate from what the promises they made to the people.
But we can put a stop to all the strike action by means of everybody getting on board.
As it start from the top hierarchy. If they knew that what they are supposed to do, just do it and do it well. Other than that, people will always demand their right to strike peacefully. Peaceful. Other than that, nothing will go on.
What you've been thinking about this, let's check out what you've been sending on Facebook.
Bambaki Asame says, yes, I think those who were chosen by the people to manage the resources should live up to expectation. They should always pay people what's due them. If care is not taken, workers will one day march with machetes to the Flagstaff House to demand their salaries. Yo. Hayford Incommissary says, the way out is simple, Aisha. Employing institutions should just live by their employees' conditions of service, an employment contract agreement, period. By the way, Aisha, protest and striking appears to be the only stirring language the Ghanaian leader at the helm of affairs understands and promptly responds to. Sana Mohammed says the only way for government to prevent future occurrence is government fulfilling its promises as it did promise. We, the newly trained teachers, are even to embark on strike come 22nd May for government failure to honor our salary areas. Okay.
And Delali Xavier Homenya says, but I'm wondering the kind of governance rendered by the ex-Wal Mahama upon all their touting, brags, debts everywhere. But I believe His Excellency Nanado will turn all these situations around for Ghana to work again. Bao Musa says the way to prevent these strikes is for people in authority to stop playing with people's emotions. They should always remember that the workers have families that rely on them for survival. And finally, Vice Chancellor of the University of Ghana, Professor Aite, is reported to have said, common sense, and I quote, he says, common sense is better than acquiring a PhD. In an interview with Radio Universe, the Chancellor seemed to agree with a school of thought that believe that in everything we do as humans, common sense must precede. The question I ask, do you agree with this assertion?
Partially, I think it's true. Simply because there are certain things you don't need to be educated in school. There are certain things you need to learn from the house, you understand? Yeah, so those things you just have to apply. They're not everything that you need to learn from class. You just have to apply common sense from your parents, and that's all.
I won't say common sense is better than PhD, because for the PhD, you have the school sense coupled with the common sense. So it's like when you are going to school, the tutors there will teach you, will send you through the common sense. So you combine the school sense with the common sense, so I'll go for PhD.
Yeah, it's very true to some extent. The reason being is that with knowledge, you can buy it with money. But when it comes to common sense, which in actual ways we say wisdom, it is a gift from either God or maybe your goodwill on this earth that can fetch you that. So I think PhD with common sense, common sense is better, yeah.
Simple logic. If you have PhD and you don't have common sense, you will not know how to use your PhD.
Well, let's check out what you've been saying on Facebook.
All right, so Kwesi Boateng says this is a factual statement, and actions of leaders of this country affirms the statement. They take some decisions. And you sit down to ask yourself, what at all influenced that? PhD holders are people who have not been able to solve any family disputes. Oh, seriously? They only come and exhibit impunity and leave the problems for those drunkards in the family to solve for them. Gordon Amankona says the biggest challenge facing Ghana is that we have long certificates that do not solve our problems. Common sanitation, we can't use science to salvage the situation. PhD with no value.
And Baye Jeremiah says, yes, it's true, but gone are the days when PhD was awarded based on the principles and values of common sense. The professor is absolutely right. PhD holders no more have any significant impact on the society because their research have nothing to do with real life situation. I beg to differ. Some of them have done great research that we can relate to. Ibrahim Yakubu says, of course, common sense is far better than PhD. Common sense brings dignity, respect, and honor, whilst PhD brings money. Even some PhDs are just on paper, which has no impact in life. Also, PhD can be bought and sold, whilst common sense is an inborn quality or natural ability which enable us to deal with extraordinary efforts. So a lot of people seem to agree with the former Vice Chancellor.
Yes.